name is Sean Lindsay, and I was the Director of Public Works for the City of Athens for 12 years, and I've been a Public Works Director for over 18 years in 3 other regional areas of the state of Tennessee. Well, you know, it's important. You mentioned pavement maintenance. You know, most people don't do a lot of pavement maintenance. They do, you know, resurfacing. You know, we do a lot of pavement maintenance. We've always done crack sealing, rejuvenating, sealing, and here lately it's been liquid road. And what we try to do is we put about 25% of our budget into preventive maintenance. We want to prevent a road from having to be paved and extend the life of a road. Most people get 15 to 25 years out of the road. We're trying to extend that to 35 or better. We use liquid road first on a commercial street. You know, we were really new to the situation, and so we wanted an older street, but we wanted it out of the way, and so we had a commercial street that wasn't primarily used as much anymore because the businesses had left, so we did some experiments there. It was a very older road. It had some issues with it, but it was still in fairly decent shape, but it needed to be paved. We couldn't afford to pave it, and so liquid road was our alternative, and we did 2 coats of liquid road. At that time we mixed the aggregates ourselves, and we applied it to that road. It was called Lehman Road, and it still looks great today, and it's been a little over 3 years, I believe, and it still looks really good. Well, liquid road's been good. We have learned a lot from liquid road, and Steelmasters helped teach us about it, and our crews have helped develop and get better and better at it. But we are having asphalt prices that increased actually 30% over the last 10 years, and we're looking at another 25% for paving in the future. So we don't have the resources to keep our city streets, particularly these residential areas, at the same condition that we need them to be that we could, you know, 20 years ago. And so we need an alternative. And a lot of times what you do is you put down 1.5 inches of asphalt or 1 inch of asphalt, and you get 15 or 20 years out of it. But we're coming in with liquid road and doing it for 1/10 of the cost and getting 10 years out of it, we think. We think at minimum it will be 5, but from what we see right now, 3 or 4 years in the project, we think we're going to get much greater than 5 years, and as much as 10 years. So at 1/10 of the cost, and you're getting 10 years when you would get 25 of a paved surface, that's a good savings. The road we're in right now, this is an older subdivision, about 30 years old. The road's never been treated before, and so we chose this because we couldn't afford to pave it. It was getting at the point where we need to pave it pretty soon, but it didn't have a lot of structural problems. Liquid road's not going to fix a structural problem. You're going to have to fix it before you go down. One of the most important things about using liquid road is your prep. When you prepare a road, you actually do almost as much good as you do when you put the liquid road down, because you're really cleaning a road, you're addressing crack issues, you're addressing pothole issues, alligator issues, slump issues, and you're fixing that the way you should instead of just trying to pave over it. In the past, we've always paved over problems. With liquid road, we know we can't pave over the problems, but we can put a thin up to 1/4 inch surface coat on the road. And so we fix the underlying problems, that's the root of problems, and then we go in and we put liquid road on top, which seals everything in. It adds a little bit of aggregate to it, adds a skid resistance to it, and it gives you a new surface layer. That surface layer we used to be 1.5 inches thick at 10 times the cost, but it doesn't have to be. And so that's why we keep using liquid road, and that's why we use on these applications. Residential streets, slower moving commercial areas, but those are the areas that are best for liquid road. The best thing you want to look at is a raveled road. It doesn't matter if it's a mildly raveled or severely raveled, liquid road will fix that without any problems. And so that was your primary look at what you want to do when you're looking at resurfacing roads. You looked at raveled roads, but really a raveled road can be fixed with liquid road, not have to be paved. When you have other problems, more severe problems with deviations of 1 inch, 2 inches in a road, that's when you need to pave. And that's when they're large spread. If they're just pockets, you can fix those pockets and then apply liquid road. And so that's our approach to it. And in the past, we had so many tools in our belt. We could crack seal a road, we could pave a road, we could hire a contractor to come in and rejuvenate a road, but we didn't have the ability to put a thin layer of liquid road down. A liquid road is somewhere between a heavy slurry seal and a microsurface, and so that gives us another tool in our belt, and it's a cheaper tool. And so before, we had we had a handful of tools. Now we got more tools, and the more tools you have, the more jobs you can do, and the smarter you have to be when deciding what is the correct application for that road and at the right time. Those are two things you'll hear in preventive maintenance a lot: the right application at the right time, because even liquid road or any application you use, it will fail if you use it at the wrong time on the wrong and for the wrong reason. And so you have to know the difference between that. And that's what we've been learning really well in Athens, Tennessee for 3 or 5 years. And I'm hoping that understanding will spread to other areas so that they'll save their communities money and they'll use the right application and the right process. If anyone is considering, any product, they should try it out. There's no harm in trying any product out. You do your research on the product, you looked at other areas that have used the product, you can come here to where we're at right now and look at this and look at it over the years, but try a section out. Before we started the process with Liquid Road, we tried spots out. We would just they'll come bring you a bucket and let you do a spot for free. Do a couple of spots, different areas, different traffic patterns, and see how it does. We experiment with tacking, not tacking, different ways of prepping a road, but just keep trying different things. And just allocate a small percentage of your budget at first to trying new applications, whether it be Liquid Road or any other. You need to try and see if they work, and then compare them. One thing we like to do is side-by-side studies. And so we'll use 2 different applications of different things on the same road. Another road that we did 3 different types of application. We did a Liquid Road, we did another sealer, we did a combination of the 2 sealers, one that Sealmaster provided, one that another person provided, and we looked at side-by-side studies of how that road is performing over the past 3 or 4 years. And so we have first-hand knowledge of how it does in a comparative study, and that's what you really want in anything you use. Sealmaster came down, Melvin with Sealmaster and Doggle, and they came with our crews and they gave us some lessons on how to use Liquid Road. They taught us how other people did it. They took us to other cities and showed us where Liquid Road had been applied, and then they showed us how to work the equipment. We actually bought the same equipment from Sealmaster, the same person that we buy our Liquid Road from, and we were able to experiment with different ways with our operators. You really can't learn it until you do it. And so you can practice with water, and you can go out and put Liquid Road in it. You can practice with it. You got different batches of Liquid Road. The operator needs to learn how to use it differently. We tried 2 or 3 different operators over the time, and we had some really good ones. And if you have an operator that can operate another piece of equipment, this is not that hard to do. If you have a good crew, we found that when we first started out using Liquid Road, we put a lot of people with that crew, and then over time, they weren't needed. And so we're down to about a 4-man crew that puts Liquid Road down now. And they do it so well, and they do it faster than we had maybe 7 guys in the beginning doing it. And they're phenomenal, and they've learned to do it well. We started Liquid Road. We got a green development grant through the state of Tennessee. Through a couple different agencies have these green development grants for looking for innovative ideas. And we didn't really think we'd be funded, but we said, we have a green way of doing pavement preservation. And so they were kind of interested, and we talked to, we can put recycled materials like crumb rubber and things in this product, and local aggregates, and save the environment, and also prolong the life of the road and money. And so the savings was big, so they were really interested in us using this money to buy a 575 spray squeegee machine from Sealmaster to apply Liquid Road, and the things that we could do with it. Because when you use Liquid Road, you have control over the aggregates and the process. When you go buy it from an asphalt plant, you have less control. So we're putting it down cold applied ourselves with total control of the aggregates. And so the machine helped us do that. Now that I've done it, I would have done it without the grant, because you pay for the machine the first year you're doing Liquid Road because of that savings. Remember that you're only spending about 1/10 of what it would cost you to pave the road. And so the equipment cost is very minimal compared to the savings that you get by having that toolbox. Liquid Road solved the problems of not having a tool that would treat roads primarily between 10 and 30 years. And like I said before, we've done roads that are over 30 years old, but they were in very good shape because they were low volume roads. And so it gave us a tool, because before we only had a couple choices. We could rejuvenate a road that was between 0 and 5 to 7 years old. We could seal a road, but it wouldn't last for 2 or 3 years, and that's all you would get out of it. It was cheap, but it really didn't do anything. It didn't give you new wearing surface. It just really helped preserve the road a little longer. But with Liquid Road, we get a new wearing surface. And we do that wearing surface between the times that we didn't have any other tool in our toolbox to use. So it's between that 10-year period and probably a 20-year period. And you can go up to over 30 years depending on the shape of the road. We inform people what we're doing. We inform them this is not paving. this is road preservation. We're trying to keep your road in a good condition for a longer period of time. And so the people around the neighborhoods really liked it because their roads look brand new. And of course we tell them this is not a brand new road. This is your same road, but with a new wearing surface that should last 5 to 10 years. And so we try to not create a false hope. If you go in and say Liquid Road is, the thing to do now, and not look at anything else, and that you're misleading the public, because this is not 1.5 inches, 2 inches of asphalt that you're going to get 25 years out of. This is a small wearing surface that you'll get 5 to 10 years out of. And you may be able to do it every 5 or 10 years, and maybe prolong paving indefinitely, or for a greater, longer period of time. We don't know how long a road will last if we keep continuing putting Liquid Road down every 10 years. It may last 40 years. It may last 60 years. It may last even longer. We don't know at this point, and I don't think anyone in our area has done it that long to know. So we're trying to figure out if that is what can happen, and we think it can. We think that carefully monitoring your roads, using other applications like crack sealing roads, rejuvenating roads, Liquid Road, and when you have to, you pave the road. And so everything working together gets you a good road system. And you got to look at what product and what timing you use and what process to create the best road system you can have for the least amount of money. And so residents, if they're expecting paving, they're going to be disappointed. If they understand it and you explain it to them, this is road preservation, this is saving your taxpayer dollars, then they're going to be happy with it. And we found that most people are very happy with it. We do our own crack sealing, and so we do use Sealmaster's crack filling products. I think that most cities should do crack sealing. One thing that Sealmaster does have is they have several cold apply products. Although we primarily do hot crack sealing, we do buy their colder products to use in the times of the year that we don't have the time or a big enough area to heat up the crack sealing machine. Or we'll use other products like Gator Pave and things like that when we have alligator cracking. That comes in the prep phase. When you prep a road for Liquid Road, you should have already crack sealed it. You should have already fixed all the alligator cracking. You should have, sealed your center lines in all those areas beforehand. And so that's where those products come in handy. And Sealmaster is really good about not only just selling you the product, but coming out how to show you how to use it, show you when to use it, and that's what's made Sealmaster really good for us. You'll see a road later today where we paved half the road and we did Liquid Road on the other half of the road, which is a side-by-side application. They were done almost exactly the same time, maybe within a few months of each other. It's been 2 or 3 years now. The Liquid Road actually looks better than the asphalt road. Now, I'm not saying Liquid Road will hold up as long as the asphalt road, but the looks 2 years out, 3 years out, 4 years out, 5 years out, maybe up to 10 years out will look better. And then Liquid Road, of course, will have served its purpose and needs to be reapplied. So that is the expectation. What you're going to have with Liquid Road that you need to be aware of is a cure time. When you do asphalt, it's really fast and it cures out really fast. You put traffic on it really fast. When we do Liquid Road application, we typically start after everyone goes to school, or in the summers, after when everyone goes to work, 8 o'clock in the morning, or 8:30 time period, and we'll work until about 1 o'clock, and then we'll take off and we'll start prepping the road for the next day. And we'll let that cure so that we get a full cure time before everyone starts coming home at 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And so typically with Liquid Road, it could take as little as like 40 minutes to set up, or it could be 2 or 3 hours. If you pick the wrong road in the wrong conditions, it could be overnight. And so you got to be really careful about when you use Liquid Road and what application you use it on, so that your dry time and your cure time is enough to let people get in, or you have an alternative route. Typically we do half the road at a time, or 1 lane at a time, so we always keep emergency services available to that area. And if there is a problem with Liquid Road, it's easy and cheap to fix, so someone does have to drive through it. I think this is our 5th or 6th year with Sealmaster that I've done business with them. I may have used their various products in the past from time to time, but not as heavily as I have when I started Liquid Road process.